Hey, Fran fam. Welcome to Life and Style with Francyne. I am your host, Francyne Walker. Thanks for joining me today. Joining me also is Lawrence Hill. He's been a mainstay in the gospel community. We're going to talk a little bit about his history, his what he's doing currently, and also get a chance to hear his new single. Please join me in welcoming Lawrence to the show. Hey, Lawrence.
Hi, Francyne. How are you? And I'm glad to
I'm
be on the
fine.
show. Life and Style with Francyne. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. It's some life, some style. It's all good though.
All right.
Everything in between. And the and is everything in between.
All right.
So
Great.
how are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. With this quarantine and being sheltered in, you really don't go that far and you go protected. So the barbershop was open, so I ran down there. I said, let me get a little edge up. And that's how my day has been. Come back home and get on the computer and
Sure.
whatnot. Stay away from my cookbooks.
Are you a cook?
Yeah, I can throw down. I can burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you faring, Lawrence, with the pandemic and the COVID and the just everything? It's a lot, but how are you faring?
Oh, good. It gives me a chance to slow down and take care of things that I normally wouldn't take care of. I'm so busy. So I'm
Yeah.
getting a chance to catch up on my reading, on my research, and then to work on the project and other projects that I have. It's give me a chance to slow down and that completely. Because other than that, I would have been running the streets, doing this, doing that, and not getting what my assignment is God has given me to do.
Sure.
And that is to put it out and television production, so forth. So it's giving me a time to filter in.
It has forced us to slow down. Otherwise, I mean, it's been a life and death life and death choice to slow down. And because if we don't, shelter in place as we've all been instructed to do to keep everyone safe, including ourselves, then we're going to have, then the results could not be in our favor. So what are you are originally from where?
I was born in Fresno, California, raised in Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco area. That's where I was raised at, and went to college in Oregon, and then migrated to Los Angeles.
Okay.
So Northern California, that's where.
Did you say Oakland, O-Town? Did I hear Oakland?
Yeah, you heard Oakland, yes.
Yeah. So you're a Cali guy.
Yeah, I'm a Cali guy, and that's where my musical experience started.
Okay.
And been in my father's pastor, Powerhouse Church of God in Christ in San Pablo, California, and he also founded a church in Marin and a couple other cities. And so, just a little story: when I was 3 years old, I used to crawl under the benches and jump on the pulpit and grab a mic and start singing. And I'd get a spanking all the way back to my seat, but I was determined to sing.
Oh, wow. So you knew. It's always fascinating to me when you never tire of stories where you never tire of stories where you hear it started at such a young age that you knew what you knew that you wanted to sing, or you knew that you wanted to write, or you know what I mean? So who were some of your influences, even that young? Or I won't say, because you wouldn't know that at 3, but was anybody else in your family a singer?
Yes, they were preachers and singers. My father was a horn player and he was a singer, but coming up in the Bay Area, you'd be a part of a group, this group or that group. And when I was in my teens in junior high school, I joined a choir called the Northern California State Youth Choir.
Okay.
And so be it funny is that we were trying to go to a convention in Cleveland. So we got tired of doing barbecues, car washes, chicken fried dinners, and midnight musicals. So we said we got $4,000 in the treasury. Let's do a record. So we did a record, and one of the songs on the record was "Oh Happy Day." And
Oh, yes.
yeah, so that was unique. That was a unique experience because being raised in the church, you can stay out past 11 o'clock. But if you went to a midnight musical, 2 and 3 o'clock was not too late because we knew our parents and we do a little shout, get happy. We had a designated shout, and she'd fall out. We fan and take out, jump in the car, go back, shout, then go back home.
So you were kind of like, like the Temptations or whatever, where they have the person that would just always was that was part of the act, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. And so Ed wasn't going to tell because Ed was like 4 or 5 years old. He was a teenager himself.
Sure.
I don't think he had 21. Most of us were young kids. So a bunch of preachers' kids. That was our way. Preachers' kids. So, we were bad. We weren't bad, but we were very, very strong-willed of kids. And so that was our way of getting out of the house. And a lot of our friends, white friends, Jewish friends, Asian friends, would come with us going to the musicals and whatnot. We'd have to get 2 buses when we travel up and down California because they could hang out. We go to the party, come back, and so forth. It was a really nice experience growing up.
It sounds like fun. It sounds like it was a happy day many times over.
Yeah, and when it turned into a hit, I had gone off to college in Oregon. McMinnville, Oregon, Linfield College. I went there because I was economic major, and the scholar in residence at that time was the father of economics, so I wanted to go there. And I was sitting in my dorm room, and I brought 2 copies of the record up there, but I kept hearing dun 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 dun, and I said, why am I hearing that? I said, I gave the copy of the album to one of my college friends.
Sure.
An hour later, I heard dun 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 dun. I heard the song go. I'm going to know what the heck is going on. So I called my sister and said, what's going on? Why am I hearing Oh Happy Day up here in Oregon? There are no black stations. There are no soul stations. All we have is rock stations. I might get Jimi Hendrix at that. And she said, it's a hit. It's a national hit. The record is going. And there's a royalty check here waiting for you. Now I went, oh, great. Send it to me.
I know. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So let's talk about some of the other, again, as I said earlier, you are a mainstay. And usually that is attributed to, you grew up in the church, you had family members, your dad was a pastor, several, left roots or put down churches in several different spaces. What are some of because I read your bio and quite a few accomplishments. Give us an idea, give us a few, just share a little bit about what Lawrence has been doing before we talk about the new single.
Okay. What happened, I formed a group of my own after I had to get back in college because I was going to get drafted. Started a group. We performed for various artists coming to the Bay Area. I eventually moved to Los Angeles where I learned studio work and started working as a background singer. And I toured with Leon Russell, J.J. Cale, and that's how I met T-Rex and David Bowie and working with them. And so I started writing for a couple of artists there, and I was on the label Shelter Capital Records. And so that was where I got my roots as a writer. Plus, I couldn't play anybody else's songs, so I had to write my own songs. So I started writing, and lo and behold, I caught the knack for writing. I learned a lot from a number of writers. So I did that, and then I went over I wanted to sit out a contract. So I started working with a writer named Gloria Jones and her brother. Gloria wrote If I Was Your Woman and My Mistake. And so with that, I learned a lot from them and writers. And so submitting songs for Gamble and Huff and whatnot, working with them, doing songwriting and doing background work. And later I went into doing acting and appeared on a couple of shows. And I was the choir master for a couple of episodes for Touched by an Angel. And
Oh, my
yeah,
favorite.
yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Oh my God. So what was Deolla like?
She was like your auntie that you didn't want to cross. You and it would be funny. We've been in the studio, and I listened with my ears. So I had my eyes closed. So she hunched me. She said, "Go get a hotel, and you go sleep." And I said,
Oh,
"I'm listening with my ears." She said, well, "Open up your eyes so I can see that you're not dead." Because I had that fear that from Harlem Nights. She said, "Oh, I'm gonna have to cut you."
oh no.
So that was Deolla. She was a lot of fun, and it really hurted me to see her pass. And I'm good friends with Franklin, her widower, and so working with her, and then she did an album that was placed out, and I wrote and co-produced on that album. CD is now come up with
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
and then we had an up choir that did the Gospel Pearls, and I helped produce on that, wrote all the background arrangements, and we did a number of Gospel Pearl songs, and so I co-produced on that and moved forward and kept going, and then I started singing with different groups there. One was a Ricky Grundy on Sparrow Records, and I had the single "We Have Come," and I had no idea it was such of a big record. Went to Europe, and everybody wanted my autograph, and I'm going like, "What the heck is this all about?" So they knew who I was, and I had written for a group called Gonzalez, and I had a hit there in England and in South America, and then with T-Rex, wrote songs for him and different other artists, and had hit records there. So
Sure.
with that coming on up, and I'm trying to keep in mind, I eventually went to school for a certification program, which is like getting a master's in record production and record business. And I decided I did not want to be a record company. Too much work. And I said 2 years, but I had to study so I can make disciplined decisions
Yeah.
in producing and having a record label. So I did that and had music in the cans, and I put out an EP on myself. And at that time, they didn't have the ability to you put your own record out, so always shopping for a record, which leads to I'm getting to what the world needs now. One of the songs I had demoed, and I was going to release if I had gotten signed at that time with the record label. They were coming after me. Was What the World Needs Now, and I said, "Nah, I'm not going to show this one because they will sign me, get that arrangement, and put it on another artist and run off since I'm doing the cover." And so I didn't put it out there. So that song was recorded many, many, many years ago. I kind of liked it and say it's good, it's all right.
Yeah.
But God didn't allow it to come out. It didn't come out, and I couldn't figure out why. And I wouldn't show it to anybody. The arrangements. So lo and behold, um, I listened to it and I said, well, I'm going to put a record out on myself because I started the record label with Patrice McCullough, and I had put her out. And I'm going to divert just a little bit. When my cousin asked me to do a record project for him and his wife, and I said, okay, I got some records in the can, some songs in the can, and I'll put you guys on it. You take it and run with it. So lo and behold, he died in the middle of the project. I
Oh,
didn't have one song with his vocals on. So I had to bring in different artists, and I had to start a record label. So with that, after that was done, a couple other productions, and me working for 40 years for the County of Los Angeles as a child support officer and also as a labor representative, I was still doing the music. So I listened to What the World Needs Now, and I said, well, I'm going to put a project out on myself. And I listened to the song and I said, it still ain't happening. I didn't know that my co-producer, the guy who was doing all the tracking, producer, TC, had gone in and put new drums and guitar and bass on it. And I was just still listening to number 24, and I said, no, I'm going to put this song out, another song. And lo and behold, I happened to notice that there was a difference in the numbers, and I went to listen to version number 28, and it was right in the middle of the pandemic. And I said, this is why God was holding song, because this is what we need right now,
yeah.
is love, sweet love. And so
Yeah.
that's how I came about releasing this song, because I was going to go another way. All the marketing people said, no, go to World Needs Now. And said, I ain't feeling it. So you have to listen to the people who know their business. Learned that.
Exactly. Exactly. Did you mention, I didn't mean to gloss over the fact that you said you worked with David Bowie?
David Bowie, yes.
Yes, the David Bowie.
The David Bowie.
Yeah.
David Bowie. And I was kind of hanging out with a lot of rich friends, Beverly Hills crowd, you know, the
Yeah.
and everybody else, the Shah of Egypt, and all of them hanging out. And I won't say too much on David Bowie, but they invited me to go on a safari with them. And I finally listened to my father. He said, "Do not go." He said, "Because they're rich, and when they get tired of you, they will dump you. And don't leave your job. Don't leave your day job. Your career is ahead of you."
Yeah.
And so I did that. But meeting David Bowie and T-Rex and a whole bunch of the European stars through T-Rex. That was that. And Gloria and him, they had a child together. So I had the house in Beverly Hills. I was living large.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's rich history. But with a career like yours, I'm sure you came in contact with a lot of people that, whoa, for real, you know, that that certainly you can look back on and say, hey, I've lived a good life, you know.
When I was at Shelter, and that was with Leon Russell's label, and they signed the Gap Band. So I met Charlie Wilson them when they were living in Tulsa, because when I was on tour, we stopped in Tulsa. That was Leon's home base besides Hollywood and LA. And so they signed the band. And when they came out, and we had a lot of fun. DJ Rogers, Phoebe Snow. I met all of them at the time. We used to hang out, the big afros, going to the Hollywood parties and everything else, but I still kept my day job.
Yes.
No, I wasn't working there. No, I wasn't working for the district attorney's office then. That was before.
Phoebe Snow, man. Just all kinds of, Phoebe Snow is bad, you know.
She's bad. But the thing about Phoebe, and I'll cut it short, is that nobody wanted to, she had a sense of humor, and nobody wanted to produce or work with her. So I told DJ and the guy, Charlie, you need to do a song on her, produce a song on her. I did one. And Why Did You Stay Without Your Love? And she did it. We demoed it, and we're getting ready to go in. And they gave it to this other guy to do the full record. They said, we got at least one song on it. We'll do some more. But Phoebe's record broke, and she went over and signed to Columbia. So that song was never put out. But working with Phoebe, it was a lot of fun. We hung out, a lot of parties, and had a lot of fun.
Nice. And so now you're from California, and as we were talking earlier in the green room, you are now a transplant in Georgia. Correct?
Yeah.
How long have you been in Georgia? I forgot the time frame.
2017.
Okay.
May of 2017, I finally moved here.
Okay.
And it was, I say God had a setup, because I did not want to move to Georgia. Serious.
So do you now see the reason why you're in Georgia 3 years later?
God told me to do that, and I had prophetic word given to me.
Amen.
Go to Georgia, and I said, I'm not going. No, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Then I remember the story of Jonah, and I remember a couple other stories, and people say God will make you do anything you don't want to do. That's not biblically correct. He will, according to his will, move you into it. If you don't move, there are consequences to be paid. It's almost like Whoopi Goldberg heard the guy saying in Ghost, he will come at you that way. And I said, I've got to go. So if the Lord says go, here my send me.
Yeah.
So old song, I left my friends in kindred, bound for the Bible, for the promised land, the grace of God upon me, the Bible in my hand.
Yeah.
And so where I am.
Well, go ahead.
No. I understand why now.
Yes, good. So let's talk about your new single that was released earlier this month. Set it up for us before we play it.
Okay. TC, my good friend, is like a brother, and he had produced, he was with Cameo, he had produced Natalie Cole, Peebo Bryson. So a number of people, that was the person to work with. So we were getting ready to get a deal. So I said, let's do something like that. That's that is a universal song.
Yeah.
So that's when we started, put it up tempo, and I did all the arrangements, vocal arrangements. We put it there, and sitting there having that unique experience of writing on the spot. It's wonderful when it flows. The gift flows. So we developed that song, and I did the leads many years ago,
Yeah.
many years ago, and it still remains fresh. And it is still. I decided to go ahead and put it out and to release it. And so at this point, I had to look, because now I became a full-fledged record company. I did have distribution at one time with Universal Records. That's
Okay.
what Chris McCullough. That's who I released on distribution. But I had to take on the distribution myself. So it's a learning curve. So now I get a chance to go online. Now I wear three hats. I'm a producer, I'm an artist, and I'm a label president. And that's a lot of hats to wear.
That's a lot of hats. And
That's a lot of hats.
After you had decided years ago that you didn't even want to deal with running a record company, correct?
Right, right. Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not just putting the record out there. A lot of details, and you have to have good people behind you. I have a Miss Coleman, I have Miss Watson's, and they're different companies working behind the scenes. People that don't know about them that are there. They're the reasons why records get out there.
Yeah.
And both of them had major artists, Trinity Seven, Kirk Franklin, major artists that they helped develop and get out there. Those are the kind of people you have to partner with to
Sure.
do all the work and marketing and so forth. So it's very, very, very important. And I met some nice people. A guy named Ben Harrell up in DC area. That social media, I knew nothing about it because
Yeah.
somebody else did it, and I had to learn it real fast.
Yeah. Social media is definitely needful in this space. You cannot. You need it. For anything and everything that you're doing, social media makes a big difference in getting word out, building up interest, all of that. Now, this was a remake that's a classic,
Yeah.
and it's been sung many times before. Who are some of the artists that have sung this song before now?
Jackie DeShannon. I just called her name a few minutes ago.
You did. There was, I believe we were talking, you said, was it Dionne Warwick?
Dionne Warwick.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So you decided to go with this song because it's very needful in this time. Because I don't know about you, Lawrence, but I'm tired of this hate that we're seeing in the world. And it's like, okay, where's the love? Where's the love?
Yeah. And me growing up in the Bay Area, where we had all the demonstrations and marches, and I thought people were coming together, but the hatred is still there, especially when you have a commander-in-chief who is a hater. And spreads all that, and people have to come together. And I think what happened to Mr. Floyd was an eye-awakener that we still have this plague amongst us. Is called racism and hatred of ourselves, hatred of each other, and we have to heal. And we just have to heal. And with the pandemic, that brought everything together. People have to sit down and look at where they are and start loving their family members. Because here today, your family member can be gone tomorrow. It's not an old age thing. It goes for the young and the old. The people are leaving here. So you have to work together. This country is built on people working together, and we have to work together because we need it. And one of the things I put on the end is that what the world is now is love, sweet love. God is love. So it's really saying what you need is more God, is more love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's one of the so a couple of friends said, you didn't put God, you didn't say God. I said, Lord, we don't need. And God is love. Okay, I'm not gonna try to do it right. Okay, I won't go on put my soapbox on the table.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's your song. it's it doesn't have to be so obvious, right? Yeah, I agree.
because it goes to Buddhists, Muslims, Hindus, whoever.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
whoever you talk
Love.
is love.
Yep.
That's
Gotta have love.
as I have loved you. The
Now,
greatest
where
commandment.
can we find the single, Lawrence, for those after we play it? Where can we find it?
Amazon, iTunes, and all of the download stores. You can go to my site, Inheritance Records,
Okay.
and you can purchase it there.
Okay.
So that's one of the places. But you can anywhere they download, Facebook, whatnot, where they from DistroKid, wherever they distribute to those online stores, you can copy it from there.
Okay.
And so that's really great. And if you come to my website, you'll see what's coming up because I have radio dramas called the Soul Rangers.
Okay. And your Facebook page is Inheritance Records. Is that correct?
Yeah. www.inheritancrecords.com.
Okay.
With an N.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We're going to close out with your song. I appreciate you taking the time to be here, and I appreciate you heeding the word of God and moving when you needed to move. It's certainly a blessing and obedience, right?
Yeah.
They say obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining us. We're just going to close out with the song real quick, play it through, and we'll see you next time, okay?
Okay, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
All right. Ooh, yeah. Could you feel the need for some love right now? Ooh, yeah. Could you feel the need? What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there is just deep in love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. I know not just from who, but for everyone, another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides. Hey, Francyne.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Till the end of time. It's the only thing, yeah, that there is just love for the man now. Love with you, not just for some. Ooh, but for everyone, you will need another man, girl. There are feels, and we feel enough to grow. There are good feels, and only enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you really want to live, Reach out and drop a little love down in your heart. I can feel the need for some love right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. That is amazing. I love it. Really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was I on the air when I was doing all that gyrating?
That is fine. I was doing it too. Yes. You should enjoy your own music.
Yeah.
Yes. That is beautiful. Yes.
Well, I thought you had the lyric video.
You know what? I thought I had that one, but it's not there. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're off the air now.
No, we're here. We're hanging. So I'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.